This is From Hero to Zero, a show about the misconception of the demise of the music industry. We talk to heroes to make sense of the alleged zero, the music business. Olli, hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for taking time and sitting down with us and talking about Reckless Love.
No, my pleasure. And I'm doing fine. Hope you are too.
I am, thank you. Of course, now that I can talk with you.
Yeah.
Great. So, Olli, you started your musical career 15 plus years ago, basically when the internet started disrupting the music business.
Basically, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you perceive the music world today compared to back then? Do you think the internet made it more difficult to be a musician or maybe easier?
Well, I would be a liar if I would say it made it easier. Nowadays it's so hard to make any money out of anything. But, then again, you have to be more creative with it. I mean, internet is a good tool for promotion. And, nowadays bands do a lot of they cooperate with different big brands of we Monster Energy Drink is supporting this tour, so we're doing some publicity for Monster Energy Drink, and for exchange we get some tour support from them, what we can use for the bus or for anything, and same because the shows they basically. There are so many bands on the road right now, and people just don't have the money to go see them all. So it's really hard to make a buck from the show. And of course, you have to do all kinds of stuff, merchandising. You get little from there and here and there, and eventually you're gonna make it nowadays. Even, but yeah, internet has basically made it so that you don't really. Record sales are really down. People basically just don't buy any more of records. Most of the new music is consumed free from the internet, from YouTube or some other stream service. Spotify is not really giving artists that much money, so I'd say it made it difficult. Because I remember when I was in high school and I had friends who were professional musicians. They were making good money out of their shows and out of record sales with independent companies and stuff. So that's all gone now. But yeah, radio play in Finland actually. When you get your song airplayed in the radio, that's good income for an artist as well. So.
Oh. How do you get radio airplay in the first?
First of all, you gotta have a song that really interests. Different radio stations. For example, Finland, we've got Radio Rock Finland, which plays basically Finnish and all kinds of rock music. They have a focus on the new music, of course, but yeah, they play some classics and some new stuff as well. And to make it into rotation, because it's a commercial radio, they have this really strict playlists. So you just gotta have a really hooky, poppy, punchy song for it. And of course, if you want to make it crossover and you really want to, make a living out of being a songwriter, you would have to appeal to a lot of different, a lot of people, a lot of different radio stations and their listeners. So basically, that would mean that you would have to have a song that appeals to people who really don't like rock music that much, so that the song can get some airplay on a mainstream station.
When you write music with Reckless Love, do you think about that, or do you think more in as an album? Because nowadays it's easy to just buy one song or promote.
Yeah,
one song.
I know. You don't really think about it when you start writing a song, but when the song develops, you can sort of hear that this might do pretty well on the radio. So somewhere along the way before the song is finished, you kind of hear if it's gonna make it a single or not. And with the new album Invader, we actually had that experience with plenty of the songs. So we were kind of like in this. We had a positive problem, and even the record company said so, that there's plenty of single material on this record. And of course, Reckless Love has always been there's always been a pop side to our band. All of our idols sold millions of records. They all got like huge amounts of radio airplay. Def Leppard, Kiss, Van Halen. All of those artists were really like played through and through on the radio. Well, they still get that airplay. I mean, Van Halen's Jump is one of the most played songs on radios everywhere in the world. So, you know, it just comes out naturally for Reckless Love. I think so.
Oh, great. Talking more about listening behavior nowadays.
Yeah.
There was an interview with from John Petrucci of Dream Theater. He said in Rock Sverige that people have changed their music listening behavior by listening more passively. Do you see that as well, or do you agree with that?
Completely agree with that. I mean, because nowadays the streaming services have made it so that people basically they build their own playlists and they pick a song that they've heard somewhere and they put it on the playlist. And they basically have the playlist playing all the time, so they don't really listen to music. They hear music, which is kind of cool in a sense that, you know, they live through music. So, you know, I all the time I get feedback from our fans that I got my first kiss in you know, while Reckless Love was playing or something like that.
That's cool.
They've lived their life according to our music, and that's really cool. But you know, in the same time, because I'm sort of a music freak, especially the 80s hair metal freak, when I tend to listen to music, I shut down everything else. I put on headphones, or you know, at home I got this really good set of speakers. I don't do anything else. Maybe I drink coffee and listen to music, but that's it. And that's how I listen to music nowadays, even still. And you know, for me it's really weird. I don't really passively listen to music.
I completely understand what you say. And do you still buy physical copies?
Yeah, I do.
CDs,
I
vinyl,
do.
or something?
Yeah. I mean, actually, I've thought about. I've got like 2,000 or 3,000 copies of CDs at my place. So. Yeah, I'll see what I'll do with them. It's kind of pointless nowadays when you got. I mean, it would make more sense to collect vinyl because the artwork is bigger, it's more beautiful, and the records are, of course, at least the sound quality to my ear, it can be even better on a vinyl because you get all these little, you know, snaps and crackles from the needle, and it's kind of like old school way of doing things, and I'm a sucker for old school.
I feel you. Bands nowadays, or young kids nowadays, they can record a whole album, music, with their MacBooks, with their laptops, shoot videos, put them online, and just for the whole world to see. Do you think that is helpful for the music world in general?
It is. I mean, in that sense, internet has made things way easier. But in the same time, the input of all kinds of media into internet has led into a situation that there is so much of new media available all the time that people just cannot see it. They just miss so much of stuff. And that has led to a situation when you get artists like Rihanna or whatever, they've got a huge budget. 30 producers on a song, and then the song just goes like, you know, I'll eat my cake, yeah, or something like that. That's the whole complete lyric of it, and I go for, whoa, is this music? And you know, in the same time, anybody could do with that with their laptops, and so why 30 producers? Why all the budget? What is happening here? It's really weird nowadays. You know, I'm still struggling with it.
So we've talked to many different people on the show, and some of them, like Tito Lariva from Tito and Tarantula, said that mediocrity is increasing in the music world.
Oh yeah.
Do you see?
Well, that's been the tendency since the 80s. I mean, during the 70s, all the big record companies basically held. You know, they had everything. They had the money. They had the good equipment, so that you could really actually make a record sound good. In the 80s, when studio equipment was revolutionized, and there were pretty much all these professional studios everywhere in the world, and it made more sense. I mean, people made really good sounding records everywhere in the world. So Nowadays, I mean, I can even go to and find a new 80s hair metal band that I've never heard of, and I can find this masterpiece of an album that sounds really good even nowadays, and I've never heard of them because there was so much input in the 80s. Nowadays, it's 100 times that. I mean, there is such a vast number of new artists and all kinds of new songs and stuff that, you know, it's impossible to keep track of it.
Sure. One possible way to bring music to people is social media, for instance.
Yeah.
Do you actively use it to promote your music? Is it part of your, let's call it, marketing plan, marketing strategy?
Yeah, I mean, not so much of a strategy or a plan. I mean, it's just a way of communicating with our fans. And nowadays, because, I mean, there's two options. Either you can be this mysterious band that never does any tweeting, Instagramming, anything in social media, and you become like you become this incognito kind of thing, a mysterious band. But that's really hardly the case with anybody nowadays. The total opposite is to share everything from the tour and, you know, just communicate with your fans. People want to see the behind-the-scenes material, the making of things. And that's all just, you know, you just have to put it out there. And, you know, that's why we communicate with our fans. That's what we do all the time on the tour. Basically, we just like, every time when you go into a new country, all right, where can I get this prepaid card for my iPhone so I can use the internet? And that has become a reality nowadays.
I read in an interview with hardrockhaven.net, that was in December 2014, you said, if I may quote you, "I'm still not happy of how things are going in rock music today. Rock and roll was for teenagers to have something on their own, something to rebel against dance music their parents were listening to." Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
No, I don't really remember that, but, you know, might have been drunk when I gave that interview.
Very nice, very nice. What I wanted to ask is, do you think, or do you see a future, or do you see that changing in the future?
I mean, well, the reason why, yeah, I really do changing in the future. I mean, Santa Cruz, who are opening for us tonight, and we're both young bands, and there are plenty of young followers for us. In Finland and in Sweden, there's plenty of youngsters. I mean, young bands starting up, they're like popping up like mushrooms in rain. It's just like there's a huge amount of bands, rock and roll bands, that are actually coming up from Finland or from Scandinavia. I don't know why is it up, you know, up there it's like that, but it seems like people are finally, you know, hip hop is so big nowadays, and as you said before, it's like it's not rebellion anymore. Anybody can, you know, just put on a beat and start rapping, and nowadays rap is like, yeah, we have a party, let's get it started. All right, there's a rhyme. I'm a rap star now, and you know it's so easy nowadays that people are kind of like, oh, lame. Can you please at least try to play an instrument? And rock and roll, I think it's coming back again. Alice Cooper once said that, you know, rock and roll has like it's a 7-year roller coaster. You have a 7-year high, and then you have a 7-year low. And I believe him. He's been in the business for so long that he knows better. So finally, I think the 7-year low is actually turning into a 7-year high again.
Cool. Well, let's hope so. Well, then let's finish the interview on that high note.
All right, cool.
Olli, thank you so much. All the best. Thanks. For the future.
You too.